Hey guys, let me introduce you to a truck that's not just a truck, it's a legend. That's right, this is a 2006 Toyota Tundra. It's not the flashiest, it's not the biggest truck on the market by far, but it's one of the best.
Introducing the new full-size Toyota Tundra with the most stress-resistant frame in its class and over 2,000 pounds of available payload capacity. The Tundra is tough enough to do the work of some of the biggest trucks on Earth. And it's a lot easier to park. The new four-door Toyota Tundra. Have we gone too far, or have others not gone far enough?
The first generation Toyota Tundra was designed in California at Toyota's Calti Design Research Studio. It reflected Toyota's strategy to create a truck specifically for the North American market. It was built at Toyota's manufacturing plant in Princeton, Indiana, showcasing Toyota's commitment to building a US-focused full-size truck. The Tundra was designed to address the limitations of Toyota's previous truck, the Toyota T100, which is a truck I'll eventually do a video on because that is a fascinating truck. And it was the first company's attempt at a larger pickup truck, but it fell short of full size. The Tundra sought to offer the size, power, capability demanded by the American truck buyer, while maintaining Toyota's reputation for reliability and quality. While the T100 was slightly larger than a mid-size pickup truck, it was criticized for not being true full-size. It lacked configurations such as the extended cabs and the V8 engines that the US markets demanded. The T100 also only offered V6 engines and made it underpowered compared to the competition's V8 options. Many buyers saw the T100 as a less rugged and capable than its American counterparts, even though it was highly reliable. Recognizing these issues with the T100, Toyota designed the Tundra to meet American truck market demands by including a true full-size body, a powerful V8 engine, and a more competitive towing and payload capacities. So despite these improvements, the Tundra wasn't perfect. It still wasn't as large as some competitors, particularly the Ford F-150. It had limited engine options compared to the wide variety by the American brands, and some buyers were hesitant to embrace a foreign truck even though it was built in the US. This particular generation of Tundra marked Toyota's evolution from making smaller trucks to producing a serious full-size truck. It helped establish a foothold in a fiercely competitive market, building the foundation for Tundra's later success. Compared to the T100, it was a clear leap forward, demonstrating Toyota's ability to adapt to and meet the demands of the American truck buyer. The Tundra was built with Toyota's hallmark attention to detail and durability. It earned a reputation as one of the most reliable full-size trucks ever made. Many owners report their trucks lasting well beyond 300,000 miles with proper maintenance. It had simpler technology. Compared to modern trucks, the first-gen Tundra had fewer complex electronics, making it easier and cheaper to maintain and repair. And of course, Toyota had a bulletproof reputation. The iForce V8 became synonymous with the reliability and longevity, with many examples running trouble-free for decades. Even today, the interior quality is much superior to its rivals from the same era. Look at this particular example. The interior is practically immaculate. And of course, this was a right-sized truck for a lot of people, including me. While larger than the T100, the first-gen Tundra is still slightly smaller than its American competitors of the time. And this made it easier to maneuver and park, especially for those that don't need the bulk of a full-size domestic truck. Of course, it has a very low cost of ownership. Low maintenance costs and excellent reliability make it a favorite for buyers looking for a truck that won't break the bank over time. And another thing that's interesting is that even though this style seems a little bland, it's still a understated design. This first gen Tundra has a clean, classic design that aged very well. Unlike some of its flashier competitors, it avoids looking dated, making it a popular choice for buyers who appreciate subtle styling. Truck might not be the flashiest truck, it might not be the biggest, it might not have the highest amount of horsepower, but it's probably one of the best and smartest choices you can do if you're thinking about buying a larger truck with a V8. And it's not like the new trucks that cost $100,000. This thing in the used market, you can get it for less than $8,000. And it's a perfectly reliable work truck. And that's what has happened in the used market. These trucks used to cost quite a bit, but now because they're older, this is 2006, it's going down to the hands of contractors and people who use them heavily for work. Now, I did buy this truck in Arlington from a guy that I believe he's the second owner, and he bought it with 130,000 miles. Currently, it sits at 211,000 miles, and it drives buttery smooth, which is what you'd expect from a Toyota. This is a crew cab, so it's got 4 doors, and the doors are massive and extremely useful. Now, this car is not really going to be used for carrying people. This doubles as a toolbox, as you're about to see. And of course, if you do have a large family, this is a really good truck. If you have a house, you need a truck. This is perfect for somebody who's got a family as well. So it's not just for somebody who works. And one thing you're going to find is that this particular back seat has more space than most cars. That makes the bed a little bit on the shorter side, but most people are not going to care all that much. They do have the Tundra now with the full-size bed and the crew cab, but of course, it's much more expensive. Look, under the hood, we got Toyota's iconic 4.7-liter V8. This bad boy puts 271 horsepower and 313 pounds of torque. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's not a lot by today's standard. But let me tell you, this engine is bulletproof. You hear bulletproof being tossed around like crazy, but this thing is just dead reliable. It's the kind of engine you'd want in a zombie apocalypse. No turbos to worry about, no direct injection gremlins, just good old-fashioned Toyota dependability. Now compare it to today's Tundras with their twin-turbo V6s. Yeah, they're more powerful, but you know what? They're not simple. You're trading reliability for complexity. And for what? A few more ponies? Look, stick with your trusty V8. I think it was a mistake Toyota removing the V8. I know that they want to get better MPGs, but you don't get a truck like this for the MPGs. You get it for the reliability. You have a trade-off. Everybody knows that you sacrifice a little bit MPGs for long-term durability and reliability. And people get Toyotas for that, the reliability. And the new V6s have shown to be already breaking down because of the manufacturing process that Toyota went through. This Toyota Tundra is a crew cab with a shorter bed. And here's the thing. Some people say, oh, the bed's too small. But you know what? That's what trailers are for. And let's not forget the spacious cab. It's not just for hauling people. It's for hauling the stuff that matters. Expensive tools, compressors, supplies that you don't want to leave in the open bed. Check. Need to double as a mobile office? Done. This truck works harder than some of my friends. So let's talk value. A brand new Tundra will set you back about what, $50,000? More if you want bells and whistles. Meanwhile, you can pick up a first-gen Tundra like this for about $10,000, under $10,000. And that's if you splurge on a clean one. These trucks were built during Toyota's golden age with over-engineering. They'll easily hit 300,000, 400,000 miles, and of course, there's the occasional 1 million mile 4.7 engine out there. Now try finding that kind of value in a new truck. It's like looking for a needle in a stack of broken dreams. So the first gen Tundra also gives you that classic truck feel. It's not trying to be a luxury SUV in disguise. The ride is smooth, the steering is direct, and you get enough techie to get the job done without touching a touchscreen, distracting you from the road. Plus, let's face it, no one's crying when you scratch the bed of a used Tundra. These things are built to work, not sit in a mall parking lot. Now, on a construction site, this is where the first gen really shines. Over 10 years ago, these trucks were bought by mainly people with plenty of money who didn't really do much work in the construction trades. But now you'll find these, and these in particular with just the extra cab, all over work sites. It wasn't like that before. Now that these are becoming affordable, they're 20 years old, it's becoming one of those values. You can still get an old Toyota Tundra with a V8 and it will still work just the day that it was first bought. Now, there are a couple of issues with some of these Tundras. They're known to have rust, so if you're buying one of these, make sure you look underneath and look at the frame. Now, if you notice, this is not what it comes with. It comes with a lot of chrome on this, but look at this. Struts still work. Now, I've had quite a few used cars, and unfortunately, those things are always breaking. But this is a massive hood, and these struts still work. V8, 4.7 liter. They do make this generation Tundra with the 6-cylinder, but it's much more rare. And you can even look for a manual Toyota Tundra, which I think is really interesting. But the one you want, the one most people get, is the V8, as seen here. Now, this particular engine is not going to impress a lot of truck guys because it doesn't make that much horsepower. But it is extremely reliable. It's an engine that's not very stressed. It doesn't make a lot of horsepower. It's detuned. It seems like it doesn't have as much power as many trucks, and it doesn't. But that's the reason that this particular engine is seen on many of the Lexuses, on the Land Cruiser, and on this. And it's also one of the reasons this particular engine has hit 1 million miles on several Toyotas. This one has got 200,000 miles. That might seem like it's a lot, but even with 200,000 miles, these still are worth quite a bit of money in the used market. Another thing I'll say about this particular engine bay, I've seen plenty of engines and they're very difficult to work on. This one, easy to work on, plenty of space to put your tools, and it is a long hood compared to the next generation, making working on a car much easier. I like this much more. I kind of like that it's elongated. This one has got a downside, or you can consider it an upside. It's got a timing belt as opposed to a timing chain. The newer Toyota Tundras and the V6s have timing chains. This one's got a timing belt. But this is also one of the reasons these last longer. There is the potential of it breaking the engine, but most of the time at every 100,000 miles, you have to put in a new timing belt and the water pump. And that's also one of the reasons they last. People do these and then they maintain them much better than the timing chain ones. So one of the things I really like about this particular truck is the large front and rear passenger doors. You could use this as a taxi cab. It's got that much space. But for me, the usefulness of this particular crew cab configuration is this. Just storing your tools, your expensive tools, your compressors, your saws. You go to Home Depot, you still have stuff in here. It's out of the eyes of people. You just don't leave it in the bed. And it's a great sort of system. Sure, it doesn't look great, but at the same time, this is what a work truck is, and you have to admire work trucks, not just lifestyle trucks. Each passenger door, of course, has got the automatic locks. It's got a little ashtray thing here. It's got the power windows, you have a speaker, you have a pocket for storing if you're carrying passengers. They have each a little pocket. And here's another thing that work trucks and pickup trucks have started to happen, and I can't stand it. This generation of Tundra is still kind of short. The next generation became taller, heavier. In the back, you actually have quite a few things that I really like about this generation. Trucks have become massively tall, and if you use trucks for work, constantly having to put things over the bed of a large, tall pickup truck, it's going to wear you out. This one is still relatively short compared to the newer ones. This one is a lockable tailgate, and it's got plenty of water, as you can tell, but it's being used as a work truck, buckets, stones, and it does have a tarp that's lockable. So that's actually brilliant because I don't use it too much, I'll have to admit, but you can roll it all the way down. You put this up and you lock it, and you lock the tailgate. No one is able to really get into the back and get whatever tools you have, but it's more of a thing just to keep people away from your bed so they can't see the tools that you put in there. Let's get into cockpit. So very easy to get in and out. And the one thing you're going to notice if you have a newer truck is that this is a bare bones unit. You don't even have audio controls in the steering wheel. And you do have a Android unit here that's CarPlay. And you also have dials for everything. And that's very good because if you're working and you're using gloves, it is nice to have. This is a four-wheel drive version as well. You have a two-wheel drive and 4-low. It's got AC that works, but never touched it. This thing is pretty much dead stock except for that. And it's reliable. When you power this thing on, it barely makes any noise. I do have an aftermarket trailer brake, so that's the only thing that's been really done with this. You have cold AC, nice heated heat. So in here, you also have more space for stuff. So you open it this way. You have a coin slot. I'll show you that in a moment. Of course, this is a big mess. It's being used as a work truck, like I said, so it's got trash like all over the place. This is what happens a lot of times with these trucks. They become messes because people use them for work. That's the nature of it. It's not a lifestyle truck anymore. Maybe in the past it was a lifestyle truck, but these things do hold their value, even though you can get them for under $8,000. You can get these still for a decent amount. You could put 100,000 miles on them and sell them for about the same price. They're really good. We have our Android unit. I'm going to turn it on to AC. You have your fan, your heat, the direction. You have the ventilation, AC. These buttons, they're pretty ugly, but it goes with the design of the entire car. It's kind of like this rounding of everything. I mean, just look at this line here. It almost resembles the headlight in the front. And we have the cargo lamp. You can turn it on and off. In the rear, you have the rear defroster. You can actually see 4-wheel drive and 2 high. And you can hear it switch. The column, you have the transmission selector here, the drive selector, and you have everything is like straight out of like a Toyota Camry, like the windshield wipers, stalks, and everything. If you've had a Toyota, you know that they use this for every single vehicle, and the Toyota Tundra is the same. Your key goes right in here, and your transmission selector, the steering wheel is nice and large. If you get a upgraded Toyota Tundra, you're going to have buttons on the steering wheel for controlling the volume of your radio. This one does not have them. So you have two 12-volt sockets right there where you can plug in your USB stuff or your cigarette lighters. And then in the middle, you have the USB charging, which is controlled to the Android unit as well. In the center console, I love having a center console. There are some Tundras with the single cab that have bench seats, but this is really nice. So you have this way of opening it, and then here you have a coin organizer, which is kind of cool, but it's a good space to put your wallet, coins, and then on here, right over here, you pull it up, and you have a very deep cavity to store various things like gloves, whatever, masks, and I can see it, you have two pockets for drinks, you have a little slot for coins, you have two more cup holders in the front with even more cup holders. So this one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cup holders. Did listen to people and put plenty of cup holders on this truck. Let me show you the glove box. It's lockable. So inside here, you have also a little sunglass compartment. You have your lights here. You have two additional round things if you picked the more updated version. Buttons there, another thing that was another pocket. Then you have a fairly large visor with another screen. So when you switch it this way, you can kind of block off more sun, which is nice. You also have another one. So you can put it this way and you have still another visor, which is a great idea in case you're getting bombarded with the sun. And your passenger also has that same thing. So you can remove this to the side and then push the other one down. I mean, that's a nice little feature. All right, guys, it is time to start this thing up. It's a V8. I love the sound of a V8. And it just starts. Very quiet engine. Initially, it is a little loud, but it just kind of comes very slowly down. Super quiet. That's right, the truck is on. And you can really barely hear it in person. I don't know how it sounds like in video, but I think the idea of getting one of these is that, yeah, they're not aggressive styling as many of the new trucks, so dead quiet. No, you're not going to get great gas mileage on this, but it's not as bad as you would think. If you compare buying this to the Tacoma is more expensive, and the MPGs are not that different from having this particular V8. So you might as well just get a V8 if you're doing construction. Now, it is a large truck, but not as bad as most people think. And of course, the new trucks have gotten much bigger, much taller, and much more aggressive. It is nice to get one of these. I think this is the best styling of Toyota. In the 2000s, in the early 2000s, Toyota really made a point to create cars and trucks that were just dead reliable. And that's what happened. But now with manufacturing costs, they're trying their best to make a profit more so than before. And we see this. We see on the newer Toyotas that the quality has gone down. And it's nice that I can buy a 20-year-old Toyota Tundra and use it like the day it came out of the showroom. Looking to buy a used Toyota Tundra, this is probably a safe bet. They're inexpensive and they are trucks that... So there you have it. The 2006 Toyota Tundra, reliable, affordable, and downright practical. It's a truck that doesn't just talk the talk. It walks the walk. And if you're in the market for a used truck that outlasts the apocalypse and it still has enough left in the tank to haul your tools, skip the dealer lots and find yourself one of these used ones. You'll thank me later. And hey, if you got a first-gen Tundra story, drop it down below. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.